My son, there is a lie that comes from men when the world grows dark. It does not arrive as fear or panic. It arrives as explanation, as justification, as excuse. It tells men why they should stop. It says that knowing the end excuses you from the work. It says that collapse or defeat absolves you of duty. It teaches men to step aside and call it wisdom. This lie spreads like an infection the moment men agree with it. And once it spreads, the line does not break, it is surrendered. My beloved son, you live in a world purchased by men who did not live to enjoy it. They knew the end was coming. They knew they would not see the reward. And they acted anyway. Leonidas did not survive to see Greece endure. His stand did not win the war. It bought time, and that time was enough for others to rise. Just as Theodoric did not live to rule in peace. He broke the Huns so Europe could breathe. He carried the burden so others could build. These men were not different from you. They chose to hold the line when it cost them everything. They did not break. They did not benefit. They held long enough for others to take their place. You are standing on that ground now. The moment a man demands certainty before action, he has already chosen comfort over duty. That choice to avoid risk has never held a line. This is what the Herios have always understood. That the path of kings is not comfort, and never was. It is the path of action without guarantee, the path of burden without applause, the path of Odin. Odin is no god of comfort. He is not a god of reassurance. He is a god of foreknowledge without surrender. He knows how the story ends. He knows Ragnarök is coming. He knows the gods will fall and the world will burn. And yet, he does not withdraw. He does not shrink his circle. He does not wait. He works while others would have stopped. He gathers knowledge. He makes sacrifices. He prepares warriors. Odin understood that foreknowledge does not erase responsibility. It only increases it. There comes a moment in every cycle when bonds weaken and law no longer holds. When restraint fails and predators no longer remain at the edge. When men see order failing and look for permission to step aside. This is the Wolf Age. It is not the end of the world. It is the cleansing before renewal. What is real is what survives this cosmic pressure. What is not burns away. Our ancestors understood something we have forgotten. Dangerous things are also necessary things. When order weakens, men who abandon their strength are exposed, and only men who have mastered it can hold the line. This is why the wolves of the forest come when the walls fail, and why the wolves of the tribe must rise to meet them. And this is the moment when men are tested. Not on what they believe, not on what they say, but on whether they will hold the line when it becomes dangerous to do so, when the cost becomes real. And this is where the lies begin to speak. There will come a day when you see the scale and scope of corruption and feel your strength drain away. You will say, "This is too large. This was all decided before I was born. Nothing I do matters." This is not wisdom. It is exhaustion pretending to be intelligence. Men have always used scale as an excuse to step aside. They point to empires, systems, institutions, and say, "I am too small." But history was not shaped by men who could control the whole field. It was shaped by men who refused to abandon the ground beneath their feet. A Roman once said that the man who governs himself is never powerless, and he was right. Because every collapse begins when men abandon the ground they are standing on. Odin saw the end of the gods and still sharpened his spear, not because he believed he could stop fate, but because leaving the field was not an option. There is another temptation, quieter and more dangerous. A man tells himself, "I will focus on my own life. I will shrink the world. I will protect my peace." This lie does not sound like surrender. It sounds like maturity, but it is retreat with good manners. Men have always been tempted to train the edge for the hearth, to let someone else stand watch, to call withdrawal balance. A farmer once wrote that a field left untended does not rest, it reverts. So does a community, and so does a man. Odin did not guard only his hall. He walked the borders. He watched while others slept. Because a man who only protects himself has already abandoned the line. He has simply done so quietly. The world will also tell you that responsibility is somehow harm, that duty is trauma, that obligation is exploitation. This lie is soft, and because it is soft, it spreads. A physician once warned that a man who avoids all pain avoids all growth. He becomes fragile, and fragile things do not survive pressure. Odin paid for wisdom with his eye. He paid with comfort. He paid with peace. If the burden feels heavy, it is because it is real. Only empty things are weightless. To be unburdened is not to be healed. It is to be unused and untested. And some men do not retreat. They watch. They comment. They narrate collapse like spectators because watching costs nothing and acting costs everything. Roosevelt once named this clearly. He said the critic counts for nothing because he risks nothing. He stands safely outside the arena waiting for others to bleed so he can decide what they did wrong. That man has always existed, and he has always been the same man. He is not defeated, of course not. He has simply chosen safety over duty. Odin has no patience for him. Odin does not watch Ragnarök. He prepares for it. He gathers knowledge and makes sacrifices, and he arms the men who will still be standing when the moment arrives. Watching delays nothing. It only decides who will be unready when the cost becomes real. The men who prepare will be standing. The men who watch will do nothing. Ragnarök is not annihilation. It is separation, a cleansing. What cannot hold breaks, and what can hold remains. The collapse you see is not chaos. It is the moment truth can no longer be hidden. This is why Odin rides when the cycle turns. The wild hunt is not terror. It is gathering. It is selection. It is preparation. Those who hear the call are not victims of chaos. They are summoned by it. These men are not spectators of cosmic events. They are woven into them. In our stories, wolves do not symbolize chaos. They guard the boundary between order and disorder. They act before weakness becomes failure. They confront threats before they reach the hearth. To be Odin's wolf is not to destroy. It is to protect what still matters. This is Odin's wisdom. Stand, even when the odds are known. Prepare, even when the cost is certain. Act, even when victory is not promised. Not because you will win, but because if you step back, someone else will pay the cost. Despair offers an excuse to step aside. Odin offers a reason to step forward. So stand, my son. When the age is tested, this is what our people have always done. Embrace the warband. Until next time.